What was the Great Northern War's economic burden on Sweden? Imagine a country fighting a long, tough war that drains its money, resources, and even its people's patience. That's what happened to Sweden during the Great Northern War from 1700 to 1721. This war was a major conflict involving Sweden and several other powers like Russia, Denmark, Norway, and Saxony-Poland, Lithuania. It was a fight for control over the Baltic Sea and surrounding territories. But all this fighting came with a heavy price for Sweden's economy. Sweden had to spend a lot of money on armies and weapons. Maintaining large armies across different fronts meant constantly paying soldiers, buying supplies, and repairing equipment. This led to huge military costs that quickly drained the country's treasury. To cover these expenses, Sweden increased taxes on both peasants and city dwellers. These taxes were often very high and put a lot of pressure on ordinary people who already struggled with farming and trade. The war also disrupted trade routes in the Baltic Sea, which was vital for Swedish commerce. Ships couldn't sail safely, and ports were often attacked or blockaded. As a result, Sweden lost control over important trade hubs, which meant less money coming into the government. Merchants and producers who relied on exporting goods like timber, iron, and textiles faced declining markets. This hurt their businesses and reduced overall wealth in the country. Population losses from battles, famine, and disease made things worse. Fewer people meant less labor available for farms and industries. Crops weren't grown as well, and the economy slowed down even more. Finland, which was part of Sweden at the time, also suffered. Finnish peasants faced heavy taxes and forced labor, while Swedish nobles gained land and wealth. This created social tensions and slowed economic growth in the region. Food shortages and land destruction became common in the later years of the war. Farms were burned, and fields were left unusable. This made it even harder for Sweden to feed its population and keep the economy afloat. The war also pushed the government to take more control over resources, which caused internal stress and made life harder for ordinary people. When the war finally ended in 1721, Sweden was no longer the dominant power in the Baltic. Its economy was exhausted, and it had lost territories and influence. Russia, on the other hand, grew stronger and gained access to new trade routes and resources. The economic toll of the Great Northern War was a turning point that led to Sweden's decline in regional power and changed its internal politics. So, the economic burden on Sweden during this war included huge military costs, higher taxes, loss of trade, population decline, land destruction, and social strain. All these factors combined to weaken the country's economy and shift its role in Northern Europe.